Good evening, everyone. I am Fran Maloney. I am the Assistant Principal for Academics here at Marquette High. And I want to thank you for attending this evening, our Zoom meeting about dual credit. My intention this evening is to give you some information about our dual credit program in partnership with St. Louis University and their 1818 Advanced College Credit Program, and to give you some specifics as well about how our procedures work, how their procedures work, our particular classes that are dual credit, and some of the logistics that go into registering. Just a couple of notes. This is a webinar format. It's a different format than I'm used to using. So if you do have any questions, there is at the, I believe it's at the bottom of your screen, an opportunity, a Q&A. You can put those questions into the Q&A and they'll pop up on my screen. And I will be able to answer those. I hope to answer those, many of those in the course of this evening. Additionally, if you have questions throughout the presentation and they are pertinent to what we are talking about at that moment, or what I'm talking about at that moment, I'll try and stop a couple of times to make sure that I am able to address those in that moment. If you are having trouble with hearing anything or with viewing what is on the screen, please, you can put something into the chat or into the Q&A, and I will try to help solve that as this is proceeding. We are recording this evening, and so this will be available. If you are here and you would like a recording of it, you can certainly shoot me an email, or my assistant, Katie Hess, and we'll make sure that you get a copy of it. And I believe our communications team will have it posted to the dual credit page on our website, which is under academics. So again, the purpose of tonight's meeting is to give you some information, which I hope will help you make some decisions about if you want to pursue dual credit. It will also contain some information about AP and AP exam, and the AP exams, and earning college credit that way. I'm going to share my screen here with the hopes that you're able to see some of this information and don't just have to listen to me talk. So this is, let me see if I can get this to work, and here we go. Okay. And I also hope that you are not looking at the Q&A little box in the corner, but if that is an issue, please let me know and I'll minimize that. It's on my screen, but I certainly want you to be able to see all of the things that are in the presentation. So I wanted to start with just some information about what dual credit is and why a student might want to take a class here at Marquette High for dual credit. So dual credit courses and programs are becoming very common in the United States. Courses are taken at the high school, taught by high school or college faculty, but they also, at the same time of earning high school credit, are earning college credit with a partnering college or university. Our partner is St. Louis University. The high school instructor is hired as an adjunct faculty member at the university, and students who register for dual credit receive a college transcript indicating the credits they have earned at the university. What is important about that is the students are actually considered to be college students at that university, and the faculty are considered adjunct faculty, so faculty that is hired by the university. We indicate all courses that are dual credit, whether or not a student has taken that class as a dual credit class or has registered for the dual credit. We indicate all of those courses on our transcript with a special icon, noting that dual credit is available for these classes, that they are of that level of expectation and rigor. Marquette High decided to start offering courses for dual credit for a lot of reasons. I would say one of the most important of them is that it recognizes the high level of work that our students are already completing in these courses. And it's a good opportunity for students to have access to that rigorous and challenging education. The courses are also offered at a significantly reduced cost. Tuition is $75 a credit hour for our dual credit classes. This is a cost that is in addition to the regular tuition at Marquette High if you decide to pursue that opportunity. But when you compare that $75 a credit hour to in some universities, $1,300 a credit hour, or even Madison's, it's a little over $500 a credit hour for Wisconsin residents. This is a tremendous cost savings. So students are earning college credit at the same time that they're earning high school credit, and they're doing so at a greatly reduced price. Students have access to resources such as the university library. Now, of course, that is, if they go down to campus, to St. Louis and visit campus, they can certainly visit the library. But really what it does is it gives them access to the online resources that a university library would have that would be beyond what we might offer here at Marquette High. And then those credits that students earn are transferable to other colleges and universities. And I'll talk about some of the specifics of how that works and how we know where some of them are able to transfer. But that transferability means that a student who earns it at St. Louis University is able to take that with them when they go to many colleges and universities and already have a head start at earning college credit. Students walk away with a college transcript, which is something that is valuable to indicate that they have taken these courses and the level of courses, obviously, that they are taking. So why did we decide to partner with St. Louis University? We decided, we were presented with the opportunity and really found one of the things about St. Louis University that was most attractive was our common identity as a Jesuit Catholic institution, which means we have a shared mission and vision, which we thought was really important for the things that we already do in our classes and for the things that are so important, our mission that is so important to everything that we do here at Marquette High. So that was a really attractive part of partnering with St. Louis University in particular. It's a recognized academic and research university, so that is a good thing. It is accredited as a school to offer concurrent enrollment, which gives some quality assurance, which is really important, as well as has a long program history. It's been around for over 60 years. Which means it is recognized as a dual credit program, and it means that it has really a history that it's able to build upon as it is moving forward. So that was a good thing for us. St. Louis University certainly is highly respected and has a strong reputation nationally. And that means that the courses have the backing of St. Louis University, and that's an important piece to this. I'm listing here on this screen the courses that we offer at Marquette High for dual credit. Again, a student is enrolled in these classes, they're already taking these classes, they just have the opportunity to register for to take this class as dual credit. This list, you'll notice, has several classes that are AP classes, and then several that are not AP classes. And I point that out because there are some special pieces of information about classes that are AP classes that'll be important for you. So who can take classes for dual credit or be eligible for the 1818 program? First, a student has to be enrolled in a course that is offered as dual credit. So we have that partnership with St. Louis University. The curriculum has been our curriculum and their curriculum has been examined to make sure that they are in alignment. And so it has to be a course that's already been designated as dual credit possible. And the student must be a junior or a senior. In most cases, that's not an issue because the classes that we have as dual credit classes are junior and senior courses. If there are some sophomores who are in advanced language or advanced math classes, because those are sequenced courses, they are allowed to be part of, to register for 1818 as well. The GPA requirement is greater than a 3.0. This has shifted in the last year. They had some other provisions in the past that allowed for a little bit of a lower GPA. That has shifted to be more closely in line with what the accrediting agency that the 1818 program it works with, requires. We have been given an indication that that may actually in the future be raised to as high as a 3.5. So I just mentioned that because that may happen. But if you were part of the program in the past and there was a lower GPA, that was why. So this is something that these are all things, I shouldn't say just this piece, but all of these things are provisions that we get from 1818 and largely are provisions that they are getting from the accrediting agency. A few pieces of information for you about deadlines, and these are probably the most important pieces of information for both you and your son. The first one is that the registration deadline. Now, I made this and I updated this PowerPoint this morning. And then as I was coming in here, as soon as I walked in the door and I checked my email, I received an email from the 1818 program that went out to all of the 1818 coordinators saying they've extended the registration deadline to October 1st. So this slide is incorrect. It is October 1st. That is the deadline for registration. And that is, we got that information about an hour ago. So hot off of the presses for that. This registration deadline is for all fall and year-long courses. Courses that meet over the course of the year, and I'll show you which ones those are near the end of the presentation. All of those register in the fall. The course drop with a W. What does that mean? Well, what that means is that a student is able to drop the course, but on his transcript, there will be a W in its place. So the course title will still appear, the W will still appear. As meaning withdrawal, so that he registered for it, but he did not complete it. No refund is given after after the October 1st deadline, but you have from October 1st to October 29th to withdraw and just have it show up as a W versus a failing grade. So if and that I should clarify that failing grade or whatever grade it is that the student was earning at that time. So in other words, if you officially say we aren't interested anymore in taking this for dual credit, we are going to withdraw from it between October 1st and October 29th, that W would appear on the transcript in place of a grade, be that a failing grade or a passing grade. Whatever letter grade that might be. Tuition will be due on November 30th. That's all for the fall semester. I listed the spring semester dates there as well, because courses that a student is taking in the spring will adhere to those dates. And of course, if we find out that they've extended the deadline beyond February 4th for registration, we would let students know. So again, that registration deadline is October 1st. A student who registers now and decides to withdraw from that class before October 1st would get a full refund and would have no W on the transcript. If a student needs help, we would there are a couple of places they can go for assistance. I can certainly be of assistance to them as the high school coordinator here at Marquette High. They may also call the SLU number, the 1818 number, or email 1818@slu.edu. Because this is a college credit class and it is taken at St. Louis University, and they are students at St. Louis University. It is really, really important that the student is taking care of all of this, that they are the ones making the phone calls, they are the ones who are emailing. That is really the expectation. I have a question here that came through about the 3.0. The 3.0 will hold for this school year. Yes, that is correct. And so a student who has a 3.0 or better throughout or at any point during the course of the year for their cumulative is eligible. So it will not, we are not going to change that 3.0 threshold. Okay. The one item I did want to speak to about the tuition that I forgot is that the bill will come in hard copy to your home, and it will be addressed to the student. I always mention this to students and to parents in this meeting because there are a lot of pieces of mail that tend to come to juniors and seniors throughout the course of the year from a lot of different universities soliciting applications and interest, et cetera. And when you get a piece of mail, sometimes it looks like junk mail and we just throw it away. So I would ask you to just be attentive to anything that comes from St. Louis University if you have registered for dual credit, because that's how you will receive your bill, and you don't want to throw your bill away. It has happened on numbers of occasions, and certainly there are remedies to that, but it makes things a bit easier as things are progressing to pay that bill if you have it in your if you've pulled it out of the mail. You will pay SLU directly for that. Marquette High does not collect any money for the tuition. I had another question come in here. What happens if the student's GPA drops below 3.0 at the semester for a full year course? That's okay as long as that doesn't drop significantly. You know, certainly if a student is in a situation where his grades are dropping, from a 3.0 to 2.0, we would certainly be talking about what needs to happen with the dual credit. But we've been doing this for quite a few years, and we have not had that happen, knock on wood. We certainly don't expect that it will, but certainly things can happen. And so I would just ask that you are, or your son is in communication with me. I will be also in communication with the St. Louis University 1818 office if need be. But we will try and ward off any of those kinds of things in advance so that that we aren't in a situation where a student's grade is dropping significantly. So as I said, a number of the classes on the dual credit list are also AP classes. Every AP class at Marquette High needs to be taken for college credit, which means that students need to take the AP exam, they need to take the class for dual credit, or they can do both. Students are automatically registered to take the AP exam through their classes as they sign up for AP Classroom. And it is every student who's in an AP class is going to register for AP Classroom. They will automatically be registered and have a test ordered for them, unless they opt out of the exam. This is true for all classes except AP Spanish. That has to do with their curriculum and what they are building toward as part of their curriculum, particularly the speaking portion. So a student who wants to take or is taking their AP class they don't want to take the AP exam, but they want to take it for dual credit, they will opt out of that exam by filling out the form. We will be emailing that form to students as they register, after they have registered for dual credit. My plan prior to about 6:30 this evening was to have all of those registrations in by the 17th, and then the following week email out those opt-out forms to the students who had registered. We're going to have to revamp that just a little bit because of the extension of the deadline to October 1st for registration. The turnaround time is pretty quick for us for what we have to have everything registered for AP. So just stay tuned and have your son stay tuned for some of that information to come out. But again, they will be able to, with the exception of AP Spanish, not take the AP exam at the end of the year if they so desire, but then they have to be taking it for dual credit. Some students in the past, many students actually in the past, have done both. And why would you do both? Well, a number of students have done both because they didn't know where they were going to apply at this point in the year, or where they were going to school. They may have known where they were applying, but they hadn't been accepted anywhere yet. It's very early in the college application process. And so just because of that, and because they didn't know what schools would necessarily do with the dual credit or the AP exam information, and they didn't know how they would do on the exam, sort of as an assurance, decided to take to do it for both and register for dual credit as well as the AP exam. So again, here, dual credit and AP courses. I wanted to kind of put this together to give you a synopsis or a snapshot of how this all works. So if a student is taking our class for market high credit and just the AP exam, he doesn't really need to do anything out of the ordinary. He'll be doing the AP classroom in class anyway. He will then automatically be registered to take that AP exam. You will be invoiced $95, approximately $95. I believe they raised it to $96 this year. From Marquette High, it'll come through Smart Tuition for that exam. And that's all that needs to happen. If a student decides to take that AP class for Marquette High credit and SLU dual credit, but not take the AP exam, he would need to do the SLU online application and sign the AP exam opt-out form, which we will be emailing to students. Again, I put after September 17th. That will be true, but I don't know exactly when we'll be able to get that out now. And then they'll be invoiced $225 to $300 per semester, and that will come from St. Louis University directly. So you will not see that on your Smart Tuition. It will come straight from SLU, and it will come straight into your mail, as well as on student accounts. It'll show electronically in their SLU account. And then finally, if a student wanted to take the class for Market High credit and 1818 credit and the AP exam, again, do the SLU application. The AP exam they will sign up for through class, and then you will have two invoices, one from Marquette University High School and one from St. Louis University. So you would have those totals there. So again, all AP classes have to be taken for some sort of college credit, either the AP exam or for dual credit or for both. Let me move to the next question here. Okay, so how do you choose between dual credit, AP, or both? A couple of things that I think are helpful in guiding that decision. What credits are possible via SLU or versus AP? Most classes that students will take and will get credit for through an AP exam will get credit for 3 to 4 credits over the course of the year. So about a semester's worth of class. There are some classes at St. Louis University that have the equivalent of 1 college class, which would be 1 semester long and would be 3 or 4 credits. There are others, however, that have equivalents in both the fall and the spring semester, and therefore have 6 to 8 possible credits that a student could earn. So and I'll use BC Calculus as an example. There is 4 credits can be earned in the fall, 4 credits can be earned in the spring, for a total of 8 credits. If you take BC Calculus through the university, you can get, some universities will give you credit for all 8. Some universities may only give you credit for the first 4. I'm sorry, for the second 4 because of BC Calculus. So it's just, you want to take a look at that, and I'll show you some of that a little bit later as well. You also want to think about the scores that would be needed to earn credits. A student who is confident in earning a 3, 4, or 5 on the exam, that would be a student where it would be good to take the AP exam. That's because 3s, 4s, and 5s are most likely to receive are most likely to receive credit for the exam. The more selective your university, you're going to look at 4s and 5s on the exam if they're going to offer credit for AP. For St. Louis University, you have a college transcript. A C or better is generally transferable to schools if they are going to accept concurrent or dual credit. It's usually they have to earn a C or better. So if a student thinks, hey, I can earn a C or I can earn a B in this class, that would be a good class for them to take as dual credit. If they feel like it's going to be very difficult for them to earn a C, it would not be good for them to take the dual credit, because they would not get transferable credit if it is not a C or better. And then finally, what are the strengths of the individual student? An AP test is 1 day in May, and that's what's going to determine the credit. Whereas with SLU, the whole semester or year will earn credit. So that body of work, because it is the final grade, that makes the difference for St. Louis University, not just that single test. So great test takers, AP is an awesome option. A student who really struggles on these high stakes tests might find that St. Louis University option is a better option for him. And again, there are a lot of students who, because they don't know where they're going to school at this point in time, because they have an idea of what they might want to be, what they might want to major in, but might change that, will oftentimes do both, just as an sort of as an insurance policy, if you will. So again, how do you choose? How do you make some of these decisions here? With some important things to know. Most credits are going to transfer as core requirements or general education requirements or electives, but not requirements for the major. Sometimes that is the case, that it will get them through the entry level class that is required, but it's not going to earn the credit for those high level 300 level, 400 level, or 3000 level, 4000 level classes that would go towards the major. Looking at the types of colleges that your son might be interested in applying to, that would be a consideration for why to take it or why not to take it. If they aren't going to accept anything, perhaps you don't want to go through him doing dual credit. If they might, it might be worth it. Sometimes it will, taking that class won't get a student credits, but will help them to place into a higher course. That might be something that is attractive to your son, might get him started at earning some credits a little bit more advanced than some of his peers. So it may be worth doing it if he's going to find that his placement would be different. So his credits wouldn't be different, but his placement might be. A note about health sciences and pre-med. In many schools, those classes are taken as cohorts. So all of the students who are first year pre-med students take their classes all together. And so sometimes in those health sciences and pre-med classes, They won't accept these credits because they want students to go through an entire sequence together. So they aren't having students opt out of those. I mention that partially because St. Louis University does do that. So that's the exception to St. Louis accepts all of these classes. They accept them, but they may not count towards the requirements that a student would have to take in health sciences or pre-med. And other schools do the same thing. Certainly not an issue if a student, is not planning on majoring in either one of those. And it still might be an option if the student is unsure of what he wants to do. We know that most students, in fact, change their minds several times about their prospective major while they are in high school, while they are in college. They find things that interest them, or they find that they thought they were going to be interested in something and it turns out they aren't. So, it's best not to think about only a college major as a determining factor, but it certainly can be something that you take into consideration. And then the last point is just that the more selective a school is, the less likely they are to take AP and dual credit. It certainly doesn't mean that they won't. There are highly selective schools that will take them. The very, very, very highly selective schools are less likely to take them or may not take them at all. It is worth finding out from those schools if your son is interested in applying. It is worth him making a phone call to their Office of Admissions or digging around on their website to see if they accept AP or dual credit or both, and how that might work. So that is I have some information to share to help you with that a little bit, but that is a good source of information. That's this third point here on this transferability slide. Check with the Office of Admissions of prospective colleges if your son has no idea where he is going to go to school, but has some interest perhaps in a particular type of school. You could certainly have him contact the Office of Admissions at schools that are similar to the schools that he would be interested in attending. Our college counseling staff has some information, and I have some information to share with you this evening, but certainly it is worth picking up the phone and making a phone call just to find out and to get some more information. The 1818 website has a lot of information on it on where classes have transferred successfully. So that is a source of information. And there's also a website called Transferology.com. What Transferology.com does is it tracks where students have taken classes and where it has transferred to other schools. It's really meant for transfer students at the college. When a student goes off to college, they decide they don't want to stay in the college they started at. And so they decide they are going to transfer to another school, and they need to figure out what classes are going to transfer. That's how it was started, but it certainly works here because, again, your sons in doing dual credit are going to be considered college students, and will have a college transcript that they would be able to send. So that Transferology is a great resource. You have to sign up for a free account with them, but it does allow you to plug in the number or the course numbers and figure out where it has been already accepted. That doesn't mean that if it doesn't show up on that list, it won't be accepted. It may mean that that university has not had a student apply to them with that particular course from St. Louis University. And so they would have to go through a process of looking at the course, the syllabus, and making sure that it would meet there would be something that they would be able to give credit for, and which class. And that's really what a lot of them have to spend a bit of time doing. I can give you a little bit of information about transferability for some specific schools that a number of our students matriculate to. St. Louis University accepts all of the classes that are taken through their 1818 program for credit. That little asterisk next to that about the health sciences and pre-med programs that I indicated before, but they will accept everything from the 1818 program. Marquette University also accepts those credits. Marquette University's Office of Admissions was phenomenal for us a couple of years ago and put together a list of all of the classes that we were offering and how it transferred to Marquette U, the exact course that it would transfer for and the credits. That is available on the Marquette High website. It is and it is on that dual credit site. There's a link, I believe, on the left-hand side that has that list. That has not been updated for this year, and we've had some changes in the classes that we were able to offer as dual credit. And so that list is from a couple of years ago, but it does give you the course equivalency for many of the classes that we offer, and we will have that updated as we get it back from Marquette U. Generally, Xavier and UWM are going to accept most, if not all, of the credits. And Madison generally accepts the credits as elective credit or as general education credit, but not towards a student's major. I'll give you, however, an anecdote that I received from a parent a week ago, and I was really excited to see this. Her son graduated last year, so class of 2021, and went to Madison. He's a biochemistry major through the College of Arts and Sciences, and she told me that he took the literature of Great Britain, and that transferred as 3 general literature credits, which he could use towards his graduation. And his AP chemistry credits, he got credits for both chemistry 103 and 104, which meant he didn't have to take that introductory chemistry class and lab. And so that she was very happy to hear that. We were certainly very happy to hear that. We have some contacts at Madison that we work with as well, and have gotten some clarification on some of our classes as well, and how those are transferring. And so certainly if your son is thinking about Madison, it is a good place for him to be able to transfer some of those classes. Universities that are the equivalent of a Xavier or Marquette University are generally going to accept most, if not all, those credits. A lot of our students matriculate to schools like that, obviously a lot to Madison. Then, of course, there are a lot of other schools that our students go to, and those, we would love to hear back from our alumni to let us know so we can continue to update this. But we've gotten some pretty positive feedback about how it is, how credits have been able to be transferred to those universities. So the registration fall and year-long courses, again, this date is no longer valid. It is October 1st. I am going to be available to students both during homeroom as well as during the lunch period to help them if they need help registering. They do have an email from me that has the step-by-step instructions. Of note, they do need, or it will ask them for their social security number. They don't have to put that in there, but they, it is certainly as a college application encouraged, since it helps to make sure that a student, it's easier to identify a student, but certainly that registration piece for October 1st is important. And again, I'll be available on Wednesday. I'll probably do another one now that they've extended the deadline a little bit closer to the deadline. But we, of course, want to encourage our sons to get to the registration piece earlier rather than at the 11th hour in case things don't go well. I'm going to pause here and just take a look. I know there are a number of questions that have come through here. So I'm just going to take a look at some of them. So a question here was asked, what happens if the student's GPA drops below the 3.0 at the semester of a full year course? I think I answered that. That would still be okay. He'll still be okay there. Is U.S. history for sophomores included in the 1818 program? That is no. AP U.S. history for sophomores is not an 1818 class. Oh, I lost my cursor here, so let me see if I can find it again. Here we go. The GPA requirement is cumulative since freshman year or must get a B in each St. Louis class at a minimum. I'm not exactly sure what this question is getting at. The requirement from St. Louis University is a 3.0. And we would look at the cumulative and also the last semester to see what a student has earned in terms of the GPA. Students get credit for an AP class and for dual credit. Great question. Students generally, when a student applies to a school, they will get credit for either how they did on the AP exam or for dual credit and how they did in the dual credit, but not for both. So you can't really double dip that. So it would be a one or the other. And as I said, some students do this as do it for both because they aren't sure where they're going to go. So they aren't sure which one they may need. So if they have the ability to do that financially, it is something that students, that many students will do. But you can't double dip it. What is the drawback of not taking the AP exam if you're doing dual credit? So great question. I would say a student who is not a great test taker or who has high anxiety about high stakes exams, the AP exam may not be a great thing for him to do. But at the same time, I really believe that AP exams are great experiences for students because it gives them a taste of what they may need to do if they are planning on going off to graduate school in business, or if they are going to be pre-med and need to take the MCAT or the GRE or something like that. So it gives them that kind of experience where it isn't just like the ACT where you can do some preparation, but it's not super heavy content based. Obviously, AP exams, they are really assessing the content and the skills of the course, not just a student's thinking skills. So certainly that would be something. For some students, that doesn't matter. They figure they'll prepare for that when the time gets closer. There is something very valuable, I think, in preparing for an exam over the course of a year and having to know a year's worth of material. But there isn't a huge drawback of not taking the exam, particularly if you that your schools are either not going to take either of them or are more likely to take a dual credit than an AP. Or if you are pretty confident that you would do far better in the class than on a test. Let's see, what else do we have here? I think I just did that. Great question. Do the grades they get for dual credit factor into their college GPA, or do they just get credit without it impacting their college GPA? The grades that they earn for dual credit will factor into their college GPA if they go to St. Louis University. All other schools will determine whether or not that GPA follows with those credits and those grades. Most schools, this is true of high schools actually as well, when a student transfers, will give credit, will note the grades that were earned, but it will not factor into the GPA because the GPA is unique to the particular school. Again, I can't tell you that is for sure what will happen because each school treats things a little bit differently, but that is one of the ways that it can it can work out, or the way that it can follow. But again, if you are at St. Louis University, that does factor into your college GPA. It does stay with you. So certainly students who are applying to or thinking about St. Louis, it is behoove them to do their very best, obviously, in those classes. But it also means that your credits transfer, and at the college level, your credits are far more important than your GPA. They're going to be a real important piece of the puzzle. Okay, I want to get to a couple of last things here, if I can, just to help with the registration questions before I head back into the Q&A. You'll notice on this screen, this is the year-long courses that Market High offers. On the left-hand column, it is our course, the name of our course. In the middle column, it is the equivalency for St. Louis University, and on the right-hand column is our instructor. So these are courses that meet over the course of the entire year. The final grade is generally calculated as an average of semester 1 and semester 2 at Market High. They will carry either 3 or 4 credits with, they will earn 3 to 4 credits as part of the dual credit program. And there was a question that was raised about AP English Lit. It is actually AP English Language. There are 2 AP English classes, AP English Language and AP English Literature. AP English Language is a dual credit course. AP English Lit is not a dual credit course this year. If there's anybody on this webinar this evening who has a son in AP Spanish Lit, AP Spanish Literature, not language, again, two AP Spanish classes. We are working with St. Louis University right now on the course equivalency. There was an issue with that, and we are in communication, and I did not get an update before class. I was actually on the phone with them on Friday, and I did not get anything today as I was working on this, and I checked my email and I still don't have anything. So that will be TBD. We're working on that, and Mrs. Howard Paez has already had that conversation with her students. They know not to register for Spanish Lit quite yet, because we want to make sure that we have the correct course equivalency for that. These classes, students will register in the fall. They will be billed for these classes in the fall, but the grade and the credit will not be earned until the spring. The fall courses: Chemistry, Shakespeare, Brit Lit, AP Euro, BC Calculus, and Faith and Reason. All of these are ones that need to be registered for in the fall. The tuition would be due in the fall, and the grade comes in the fall. Now, there are a couple of caveats to that. Shakespeare, British Literature, and Faith and Reason are offered both in the fall and in the spring. They are 1 semester courses at Market High. So if your son is in Shakespeare or British Literature or Faith and Reason, he will register for that class. If he is taking it right now, he will register right now. If it's on his class schedule for the spring, he will register for that in the spring when he is actually taking the class. AP Chemistry, AP European History, BC Calculus are classes that have 2 equivalencies. What that means is that they can be, a class can be taken in the fall. You will register for it in the fall. Tuition is due in the fall. The grade comes in the fall. And then in the spring, you will register as well to earn the next set of credits for the next course, because our year-long course is the equivalent of 2 semesters of college work. And so that is true for AP Chem, AP Euro, and BC Calculus. And that's why those have those asterisks next to them. And finally, just a note about AP Chemistry, because this is a college class, the lecture portion and the lab portion are actually 2 different courses to register for. So a student in AP Chemistry needs to register for the chemistry lecture portion as well as the lab portion. And that would be a total of 4 credits each semester. Final couple pieces of information here before I start tackling some of those other questions that have come through on the Q&A. Again, the tuition bill will be coming directly to the student, and it will be coming in hard copy through the U.S. Postal Service. So make sure to keep an eye out for it. It will also be available on the student's account, and he can log in once he has his login information for SLU. He can do that. You can do that electronically. There are instructions on how to pay it that will come through or that you can see on the St. Louis University 1818 website. It will also be emailed to the student as well. Regarding contacting SLU as well as registering, I can't emphasize this enough to parents. It is really, really important that your son take care of doing this. There are a couple of pieces to that. One, FERPA is a federal law that restricts student information from being shared. What that means for you and having a college student is that at the college level, FERPA is in force. And so you actually, as a parent, despite the fact that you pay the bill, you do not have access to student information except if your son allows you to and signs off for it. And so there is something that is part of the registration process that allows for that to be checked, that the parent and guardian can receive information and have contact. However, if that isn't checked, then you will not be able to get any information about how your son is doing in that class, except that you will be able to get it through Market High. You'd have to call us. And it also, you won't be able to ask any real questions of St. Louis University about your son's account and tuition bills and things like that. The other piece is, as I mentioned before, students are considered to be college students. And so they need to be taking care of these things themselves. I think it's great practice for students. You're still at home, they're still living there, you're still in contact with them. You can sit next to them as they make the phone call. I do that with students when they come in and we have to make phone calls to SLU or to other organizations, the College Board or other schools. And they are the ones who have to talk to the representative. I coach them along a little bit, and certainly you can do that as well. But that's really an important piece to this. And the last piece is the last piece why this is so important is that we've actually had, and Market High is not alone in this. This has happened with many in many schools that are in the dual credit program at SLU, where a parent inadvertently registers him or herself instead of the student, or uses his or her birth date, and it causes quite a big problem in trying to sort that out and trying to figure out what is happening here with the registration. And so it's really important from a very practical standpoint that your son is the one who is doing that contacting. And then finally, financial aid. If finances on this are an issue, certainly students are able to see Mr. Howard Paez. We have a very limited amount, but we do have some money that is available for some financial aid for students. At this point, I am going to stop my screen sharing. And I am going to give some attention to some of the things that have come through here on the Q&A. These are not going to be necessarily in any order. And I will attempt to get through as many of them as possible. Certainly, if you have your questions answered and you don't want to stick around for the Q&A, don't feel like you need to. But if you want to, you are more than welcome to stay as long as you would like. As I said, we will have this recording available for families to view if they need to. And if you do have questions, you can always have your son email me and copy you on it. Feel free to also email me, but good practice to have your son email me and copy you on it. I do know there are a number of students who are on Kairos and have left for that. And so certainly I understand if you're trying to get some things accomplished in getting some answers as well for the program. So I had a question about some of the changes to our courses. There are a couple of courses that are no longer able to be offered as dual credit. Essentially, and the question is why. So the reason right now is that, or the reason it happened was that St. Louis University's requirements shifted. And we were notified about it by them quite late in May, actually, that this was likely happening. And part of it was, and then over the summer, we worked with them on some of the courses, getting them where they need, getting some things in place where they needed to be. So it was their course and their faculty requirements. So we are, because it was so late, we did not have the opportunity to do a whole lot with some of those classes to possibly remedy that situation. That is something that we are working on, and the department chairs and the faculty know that is the situation, and we are working to address that with St. Louis University as we can over the course of the year for the future. Unfortunately, the courses that were not able to be offered as dual credit this year will not be able to be offered through the course of the year. For a year-long course, can you sign up for dual credit for one semester only? Is the advantage of signing up for both semesters just more college credit? Yes, the advantage is just more college credit. It is possible to sign up for a year-long course. To sign up for only one semester for a year-long course. The place that's real important is if a student in BC Calculus already took AB Calculus for dual credit. That would just be a repeat. So you don't want to take that in the fall. You just want to take it in the spring. But I would certainly say for the rest of the courses, it certainly pays. If you're going to do one, you probably want to do both. So I addressed the English Lit question. It was English Lang. That is the AP, or is the 1818 course. The AP exams, I believe, are $96 this year. I'd have to double check. They were $95 last year, and every year, every 2 years, they go up about $1. So it's either $95 or $96. I'm pretty sure it's $96, though. That information will certainly be going out to students in AP exams, in AP courses, and parents as we get that registration finalized. If a student was enrolled in 1818 last year, do they reapply this year or use the same login? Great question. Yes, you use the same login. It may require you to reset your password. The whole university has had a IT update and some of their logins and that sort of thing. So the login information is the same, but you may have to reset or the login ID, but you may have to reset the password. And there are slightly different directions. Those are on the 1818 website, and I believe I sent those out to students as well. But it's actually easier because you're logging into your existing application or your existing account. You are not starting a whole new application. How do we know how many credits each class is? I see one of those slides showed you what some of those are, what the number of credits some of those are. It's also as part of the application. It will tell you how many credits I believe they are. We also have that information that was disseminated to students through their classes. And as I just got that course ledger information that you saw with the breakdown of all the classes and their course equivalencies updated late last week, actually on Friday of last week, with the exception of that Spanish literature. So I will be posting that to, or I will be emailing that out to students so that they have that as well. Now that is pretty well solidified to make, we had to do some verification for that. Do SLU credits transfer to other schools like medicine? So I answered that question. What colleges take dual credits? I really wish I had this awesome list. It is, unfortunately, I do not have a hard and steadfast list, just due to the number of places kids apply. So, what if you do both the AP exam and the dual credit and you don't do well on the AP exam, but you do well for dual credit? Will the AP score go against you in the eye of the college? No, it won't. Actually, AP scores are not sent to colleges. Students can send them before the end of their senior year, but finalized because most seniors or many seniors are taking AP exams in the spring. Those grades, those scores are not available until July. And at that point, that would be sent off to colleges. It doesn't count against them in the eye of applications. And it certainly, it just would mean they wouldn't get the credit. That's all that would happen there. So it's okay to do that. I have someone who said that his or her son received 9 credits of elective credits from Pitt from his dual credit classes. So well on his way to graduation. I think that's one of the advantages is you get to get started on some of those credits for graduation. You also can get started on your major faster because you're taking some of those gen ed classes. You don't have to take them, right? So you've got those out of the way and you can spend time doing that. You can get double major more quickly, or perhaps a minor. So it creates some space in your schedule when you have those credits, which is a great advantage of doing the dual credit piece. If my son doesn't want to continue in chem, would the SLU credits help him opt out of a science requirement for his college of choice? Again, that is a question that is going to depend on his major. It's going to depend on the school that he is attending. So I would suggest that a student in that situation picks up the phone and makes a phone call to the College of Admissions of a couple of schools and just asks the question, or goes to Transferability to see how it would transfer and if that would help make sure that he doesn't have a science requirement. But it very well could. We just unfortunately do not have all of the answers because each college deals with it a little bit differently than the other ones. Does the grade in St. Louis University factor in the college GPA? I think I added that I answered that. Most colleges award the credit toward graduation requirements without making it part of their college GPA. So assistance for students on Kairos, because they have extended that deadline, I'm able to do another session of help for students registering, and I'll get that information to students early next week, since we have so much more time to do that. Our son got 1818 credit last year for AB and BC. I answered that question. Do you need to re-register if they took it last year? I answered that question. So students will register by going to the St. Louis University 1818 website. There are links and instructions. They also received the instructions straight from me that has the website, the web address they need to use to access that application. Students will get a confirmation that they have registered. It usually comes about 24 hours, I've been told, sometimes up to a week. Their system, part of the reason they're extending the deadline is their system had some difficulty sending some of those confirmations out, and their rosters are not updating. So if a student has registered, I would say 3 or 4 days go by, he hasn't received an email, he checks his spam, he hasn't received an email, have him contact me and I will look from my end to see if we can get, see if he's on the rosters. And if he isn't, we will contact SLU to see what the status is. So he should receive that email, but if he doesn't and a couple of days have gone by, check spam and then let me know and I can check. And if I can't find it, we can talk to SLU. Great. I think I have gotten to all of the questions here. Hopefully, if you have another question that I have not answered, please feel free to shoot me an email and let me know. I want to thank you all very much for being here this evening. I know you have, busy lives and lots of things going on, but I certainly appreciate it. And as I said, I'm very happy to answer any questions you might have now or in the future as you're working through this. It is certainly a great opportunity, I think, for students, but it's one that you want to make good decisions about as well. And so, we certainly want to help you do that. So have a great evening, everyone. And we look forward to helping your students hopefully earn some college credits through AP or through dual credit.